Sorry, my transitions are a little bit slow.
Remember, we got more clarity than XRP. XRP settled, and we actually beat the SEC.
Exactly. So what I've done here is I'm already following Internet Money, so it's easy for me. But and I'm certain this is the right one. So they've got 13.9 thousand followers at Internet Money IO. Is their handle, and this is what their page looks like. Brother KG is kind of like the man behind the scenes there, and he has just been plugging away for years and years to make a really trustworthy product. I've used it before when I've onboarded people, and because I've streamed with him, I wanted to try it out. And yes, it is actually custom built for a new person.
It is 100%. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, other than I am an avid user and a huge fan of using that for onboarding. It is so very user friendly and very simple, but make sure it goes on a crypto only phone. Don't walk around with that in your pocket, please.
I heard they just started doing Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they're compatible with Bitcoin. That's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever his mashup with Brandon built the tech is going to be. I'm just really excited to see what the two of those guys put together.
Wow,
each product that they put out has been super quality. So the two masterminds coming together is going to be like, I'm super excited.
Asked Abdul these.
We have a new person here. Look, the new person about the Internet Money Wallet. Have you tried it, Kim?
Yeah. Have you tried it, Kim?
I did. I tried a couple different things, and I don't know if it was just like the time I was trying it where it just wasn't working.
Oh no!
But I actually found that going through Coinbase and then Simple Swap was to MetaMask was a little bit easier for me.
Yeah. Whatever works. Yep. There's lots of ways into the cult, and we will open all our doors.
I really don't care how you get in, just welcome.
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. Exactly.
I was glad I got to figure it out. So
it sounds like you're talking about getting money in specifically, Kim. Internet Money's kind of focused on Pulse Chain, like you'll find all the tokens in there and stuff like that. So I think that's where it really shines. Is like when you're on Pulse Chain, you want to swap things, you buy some weird thing. Oh, it's in there already, right? They're pretty good for that.
All right, team. We got another clip. It's about our mate CZ. CZ's out of prison. It's very unfair. We actually went into bat for CZ, if nobody knows, and we were going to send him some lady pictures, but we all had too much dignity to send nudes. So
I was going to send him a coloring book, but I didn't.
I know, the thought was there, and I feel like we should get credit. Like, just list us based on that, CZ. We were thinking about you. Here's a clip about Trump pardon CZ.
We are back here for you on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us, continuing to bring you some of the day's biggest top stories and headlines. And next up, we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. Take a look here. TMZ putting this out on X, saying President Donald Trump has pardoned the Binance founder, CZ Zhao, a Chinese-born Canadian man who founded the cryptocurrency exchange platform Binance back in 2017. He pled guilty to enabling money laundering back in 2023. The pardon caps a months-long effort by Zhao, a billionaire commonly known as CZ in the crypto world, and one of the biggest names in the industry. He and Binance have been key supporters of some of the...
Yeah. Anyway, it was pretty unfair to send CZ to jail. He didn't deserve it.
He was there for 4 months, right? 4 months. He was in the clink.
Yeah, that's not cool. That is definitely not cool. So what I've started a campaign, everybody, on my X profile. Everything that CZ says, if everybody could drop a heart, just a single heart on every single thing that he says, and then he'll get the picture like, why the hell am I getting all these hearts? And then he'll see that it's from Pulse Chain. And eventually...
Comments. Can we make comments?
Eventually he will capitulate and list us. That is my theory. Some people might argue you could just pay the listing fee. No, we're not going to just pay the listing fee. We're decentralized finance, and we will heart him into listing us.
We're not going to pay this settle. We're not going to pay this fee. We're not going to pay.
We don't pay. We're not paying. Yeah. Oh, look, Moondog has something to say.
Somebody paid for tablets.
That's true.
We're not paying for dinner and we're not paying for laundry. That's a joke.
What
'cause
is the
Richard doesn't
listing
pay for
fee,
dinner or
if
laundry.
anyone knows? Just curious.
Oof.
It'll vary, but it would be a lot for like the big three centralized exchanges, like Binance, Kraken, Coinbase. Like sometimes they want like 6% of the total balance of the token in question, that kind of thing, plus like 500 grand. So it's for Richard Hart. I think it's a principal thing. And about my comments about the tablets, like Richard didn't pay for the tablets, or not officially. At the very least, they were donated by the community somehow.
Yeah. All right, Moondog, what do you got to say about Trump? Trump being asked about Binance investments in USD1 before the CZ pardon. You know nothing about crypto. You know nothing really. Fake news anyway. I don't know the guy, but heard he did nothing wrong. Yeah, so Trump did like a press conference about it, and his press secretary did a really good snip about it as well. And they're fully bullish about crypto, which is absolutely amazing for us. And that was really cool to see. And then I think CZ made some investment towards, I think, Trump stablecoin, something like that, mutual deal. And yeah, CZ sort of said, look, we are going to make crypto great and do our best to make crypto great in the US, which I thought was very mutual deal that they came up with, which is fantastic. The other thing that I was going to talk about, which is super bullish, is the recent CPI data. So before I do, does anyone else want to say anything about our mate CZ before we move on? No, we love CZ.
He's a Chad. Like he shows up, and like BNB is like one of the best charts in crypto right now. I think it's a good example of what we could see on Pulse Chain. Should Richard have a similar presence to what CZ has on Binance Chain? Yeah,
I totally agree. The chart is impeccable. I think they've handled themselves very well through a really tough period. Hats off to the. He also looks like he's a bit more buffed lately. Is it just me? Anyway, go CZ.
CZ? That's because he's been lifting in the pen 4 months of deadlifts.
He's in the pen lifting,
1% that added to inflation. A little bit of good news here as headline inflation comes in up 0.3 on the month. The forecast was for 0.4, and core comes in up just 0.2%. Forecast was for 3.
Okay, so blah, blah, blah. And what that means is that the inflation came in softer than expected, which means that the Fed can cut rates, which means that we can all get rich. So thank God. So it needed to come in at 0.3 or less than, and I think it came in at 0.2, the CPI data. So that is actually bullish for crypto, and that's what we needed for the Fed to have an excuse to cut rates. So if you look at the FedWatch website, which I'll bring up for you guys. Okay, so you probably can't see it, but I'll just explain it to you. So this is a likelihood of a rate cut. So in October, the probability of an ease is 96.7%. In December, the likelihood of an ease is 100%. In January, the likelihood of an ease is 100%. You can go all the way through, and then I got bored after a while and stopped doing it. But the amount of months that it would be easing for is a lot. It's more than 6 months. And after that, I got bored and I stopped clicking. And what does that mean? It means that is clearing the way for one of the most epic hyperbulls that you've ever seen. If you guys note or remember the chart that Richard posted, the Ethereum art chart, where he has those 3 bubbles, which kind of alludes to his rough, I think, prediction on where ETH is going to go. So between November and March, the bubble is like bop, bop, bop. So between November and March, the bubble is like, if you stick like a dot in the middle of the bubble, it seems like about January, and the price is about $7,000 or $8,000, which is super cool. So is this cycle different? I like to think no, but maybe with some slight extension is what I'm thinking. So I'll throw it back to you guys. Is the cycle different in terms of length of the cycle? Has BTC topped? When do you think Ethereum will top? What relationship do you think there will be between BTC top, Ethereum top, and then Pulse Chain?
Well, some of the big guys are saying it's topped out, like Tate and Win and a few others. And I reckon Richard's going to be right again, because he was saying, when everyone was like crapping their pants that it was the top. He's saying, I think it's going to go back up again. And Richard Hart's usually right, and he's right again. So moral of the story is don't listen to these guys because a lot of them are full of hot air.
Yep.
Well, one big thing is what's going to happen to fiat compared to crypto, right? And if you think about it that way, it's not just crypto going up against the dollar. It's what's the dollar doing? What's the yuan doing? There's a lot of political instability and a lot of changes, a lot of pro-crypto. I mean, CZ just got pardoned. And in this administration, one of the first people that was pardoned was Ross Albright, right? Like one of the first things that happened is, okay, I want to appeal to the crypto people because, you know, we want crypto first in America. Well, not only has Richard Hart defeated the SEC, which I think people would need to get used to the fact that you can even defeat a 3-letter agency, right? People don't even know, okay, maybe they settle or they apologize. Like, no, they were wrong. Legally, they were incorrect. People aren't used to that, crypto or not, that concept. Every once in a while, you'll have a farmer maybe, okay, well, as long as they don't do it again. And like, no, this is just incorrect. And now freedom's on the blockchain, right? Freedom of speech. There are a lot of new novel concepts going on with the new administration, right? So I don't know if it's any different, but it very well could be that and what's going on with the rest of the world with their fiat, with their money, and with a lot of these aging, multi kind of trillionaire types passing the baton, depending on what you believe in. There are a lot of things going on, so it could be a little different this time.
Hey, Hub Pro, I just wanted to add to your question, what is fiat? Here in Australia, we have the big 4 banks, and then there's a couple others. Not like America, you got quite a lot of big banks over there. But if I went to my local bank and I wanted to cash out, say, $5,000 cash or $10,000 cash, you would be questioned, why are you using this money? Like they want to know why. Every bank, true class, and so
you can't take money out in large sums. So what you have to do is go there. Say you wanted to buy a car, like a cheap car, and it cost you between $2,000 and $10,000. What they would do, you would go to the the general person that stands out the front that says, "What do you want?" And then you say, "Look, I need to get this money out. I've got this car bill. I'm going to sell my car or pay for a car." And they would say, "Okay, I'll increase the limit on your card, your Visa Access card or whatever." And so you would go to the ATM and then withdraw as much money as you could from that ATM. And if that ATM runs out, too bad, go to another branch and they'll do the same thing to you. So it's actually physically impossible without weeks of planning to get out sums of money from the bank, which is absolutely devastating, right? Because, and I teach my daughter this because she says to me the other day, "Mum, can I get a bank account?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And she was like, "Why?" And I'm like, because you completely miss the point. If you put your money in that bank, the value of that money is going down. That is not an investment. There is no interest on the money that you will put in there. You are not getting a bank account. And she was blown away because she thought she's been taught in school, this is how you be responsible. You put in your dollar every week, and then eventually you're going to become rich. So I kind of had to, I said, if you put your money in the bank, guess who's getting rich? The bank. You're not putting your money in the bank. So yes, at the moment, the banking system is the banking system. Are we completely ever going to remove the banking system? No, because finally they've come on board with stablecoins and cryptocurrency. But yeah, the way the financial system is changing, and thanks to Donald Trump, it's changing faster than what we thought it would. And people need to rethink how they're going to store their wealth. BTC and gold, obviously, this cycle have been the winners. I don't know what it's going to be in the future. Stablecoins in cryptocurrency has been a major winner. But yeah, in Australia, you cannot remove large sums from the bank easily.
I think that's the case, Klaus, in most of the world. Removing large sums of money, the banks really have such tight controls, and they're so suspicious, and they make it really difficult. So you're really right in what you're saying to your daughter, in that not only is it a horrible investment because it's just putting money in that's going to lose value every single day as we just print, ad infinitum, the fiat currency, but it's also, you put that money in, it's not your money and they don't let you take it out. It's really, really complicated. So,
yeah. I mean, the
Which
mortgage
should make
interest rate-
people very uncomfortable, but it only makes them kind of uncomfortable. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
Like, no, the answer is go to
They
hell.
just haven't thought. They
That's
just
the
haven't.
answer.
My money,
They just can't be
bitch.
bothered to think about.
Hand it
They can't be
over.
bothered to think about it. Like, remember when they increase interest rates like 12 or 13 times in a row to try to destroy people financially, which was only moderately successful because most people just don't have that much invested. Like they just don't. They might have their one house, and they already had a little bit of excess money, so they managed to kind of scrape by, which just led to more and more interest rate hikes, which was ended up being pretty devastating. The amount of interest that people ended up paying, and so the kind of financial system has been structured traditionally and for a very long time to make banks rich, and the society as a whole keeps on facilitating that. Like we are enablers because people don't have financial education. But yeah, things are changing, which is always is a good thing. Fast Abdul, tell us what has been happening with you.
With me personally, privately, like in regards to what?
In regards to your current background on the moon.
Well, I'm I gotta say, Class, I'm pretty bullish on Pulse Chain right now. We've seen some stupid amount of ETH come out of the Pulse Chain sack bag, something like $652 million. If you go back to April, if that is still an ETH and ETH goes to about $6,000, then that'll be like $1 billion. I think ETH is going to go to $6,000+. I think that sack bag is going to be worth more than $1 billion, even though we can't see it anymore. And I have a strong suspicion, not financial advice, that it may find its way to Pulse Chain. So those things make me bullish.
Yeah, people have not wrapped their head around to the moon the numbers. People cannot fathom that amount of money, and I must admit I'm in that category. It's an absolute shit ton of money that's in the Pulse Chain treasury, and I talk about it just sometimes when I'm like soft shilling at work. I mentioned the amount of money in the Pulse Chain sack fund, and it's almost like people's eyes glaze over because they too can't fathom that amount of money. But we used to have, when the sack funds were in the one location, wherever he was storing it on Ethereum, to make a little bit of yield, we had the website, Look into RH, and we were able to do calculations based on how much was put in. Is he going to split it over 4 assets by pressure? And even a fraction of that amount, and even with heavy buy pressure and even split over 4 assets, the numbers that were running up for each of the assets were absolutely, they were mind-blowing. And, Richard has made some bullish comments on X throughout the last month. One of them, and I consider to be the most bullish, is that he said, I don't care about something like, I don't care about this crypto season, I care about our season. Which to me was super bullish, because at different points I get a little bit fearful on Ethereum's performance. And, last cycle, Hex did a 10,000x based on the rotation that the OA did from the top of Ethereum into Hex. And so I was worried, what if Ethereum doesn't perform? And when he made that comment, I was like, thank God, he's in it for this season. He's not trying to push back, on the timescales. And it's not going to be dependent on Ethereum, is how I took that post, which for me was like a super, super bullish post that made me feel a lot more comfortable. He's also said, made a post that, Hex has done a 10,000x. Can it do it again? Or will people be surprised if it does that again? And again, that alludes to him sort of feeling like there could be, although no expectations, some price performance that happens this cycle. So do you guys remember last cycle, like when the price started running up, what you guys were up to, how you were feeling, what kind of things were happening?
Yeah, I was in disbelief that Hex was going above a penny, but at least the price was going up. This time round, it's like going four-wheel driving, and you're scared. You just don't know where you're going to end up,
Yeah, it's been like it's been a long bear market. And yeah, I mean, I've only been around in crypto maybe around 4 years, something like that. And so I was streaming hard in the bear because I probably just didn't know any better, right? Maybe next cycle I would do things a little bit differently and go away for 2 or 3 years.
it's been a lot of fun, even though it's been
Yeah,
there
it
and it's been shit. Like, I mean, realistically, it's just lovely to talk to people who are in crypto who get where you come from. All you guys here, which I've seen you, except you're new, Kim. I know. But yeah, it's still been fun. I've really enjoyed our catch ups and my depression and your counselling for my depression during the long
You handled
ban.
yourself very well, Sammy. I must say, I didn't really notice your crypto depression. I was too involved in the cult. So sorry about that. I was too busy sipping on the Kool-Aid, and it tastes pretty good. So I thought you were all good there. But yeah,
Thanks,
sorry about that.
Class, I watched it run from 17 cents to the 50 plus cents, right? So I got in at 17 cents and I watched it over the course of, I don't know, I think it was about a month. And it just kept going higher and higher and higher. And I had never seen anything, and I haven't seen anything like that since, where it's just
Same.
for that long a period of time that it just kept going from strength to strength to strength to strength. It was unbelievable. And I do think it's not impossible for something like that to happen again, but it happens. It was violent, and it was a good, like 5-6 weeks that it just went crazy. So you just gotta be in position for that to happen and be set. So when that happens, you can take advantage of it. That's why we're all here.
Absolutely. Parties, there were I think the Australian party was at literally the night of the peak, or it was at least 40 cents. And we were like relatively new to the ecosystem back then, and so to watch it rack up like it did, it was kind of like it was one of those things where you're checking, your app or your phone or your computer or whatever you check, like multiple, like 10 times a day. And when you don't have like lots of cycles behind you, you don't realize what kind of behavior that you're exhibiting. Whereas now I think I'm a little bit more self-aware. But back then, we had a mentor and he was like, you idiots, that's like such a top signal. But yeah, in the euphoria, it was just euphoric. It was pretty incredible to because I tell this story all the time. I used to come back from my gym and then we used to check the crypto on my way back to the car. Do you want anything for lunch? And the bloody thing kept going up. And I was so new, I didn't know what the hell was happening. So I was like, well, just take profit, whatever. I don't care. I'm hungry. Just shut up. Just take profit and then move on with our day. And that kept happening. And I was like, shit, why do I keep selling this thing that keeps going up? It was a bizarre scenario to be part of.
It's pretty crazy. This sounds kind of funny, but I would like, and I believe the price is going to go up. I wholeheartedly do, but just the fact that he shoved it to the SEC for that in the court is worth all of it to me. It is.
Yeah, the SEC victory, yeah.
What that entails for the future of humanity is such an important thing, not just for price, just in general, as kind of like a weird survival stew that I am. I'm just so happy and proud that happened, that someone stuck it to the man for that long. That was a very long and expensive process. So I would love for Hex to go, and I think it will go back up to where it was, just because why wouldn't it? It's such an amazing system. People might have to kind of get used to getting onto Pulse Chain before getting it with PHEX, because before it was just Ethereum. It was kind of easy to, jump on, easy to change from Ethereum to Hex and everything. And people will figure it out, and I do believe it'll go up again. But, oh, what a wild ride it's been. It's been great. The whole thing.
Richard's got balls of steel there, because everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to ruin our cycle. But he was just steadfast, and spending the money on the expensive lawyers and really just brought it home with that victory, which is a credit to him and his determination. Not many people could have weathered that storm, and 99% of crypto entities don't. They just pay off the SEC, and that's why the SEC kept doing it, just collecting money. It's like a bribe. Like someone in Bali steals your luggage. Oh, here's $100. Give me my luggage back. Like it was pretty much that situation. He was like, no, I'm not giving you $100. So Kim, he gave the lawyers a lot more than $100, but not this.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Do you want to ask some questions about Pulse Chain, or do you have any sort of thoughts that make you think, this part is a bit weird, or you guys are crazy? Anything that we can help to ease your mind about pulse chain.
That would be a reasonable assumption.
Yeah, not saying you're wrong.
Well, actually, the conversation around the case and I guess the timeline is interesting, and how you mentioned the other chains reacting to the inquiry from the government. So, is it true that the case kind of started right after Pulse Chain launched? Like, how soon?
So, Pulse Chain launched, guys, help me out, May 2023, I want to say.
It was closer to when after Pulse X launched. Right. Well,
and
wait,
then
they launched the same time, didn't they?
And then
Yeah, and then the
came in
case,
October, because remember we had a meetup in Sydney, and we were due. That was the end of October, and it would have been like 2 or 3 weeks prior. And this is like, oh shit, man! Like,
I'll bring up
Christ,
the I'll bring up the hex chart, Kim, and I'll show you on the chart because you can just see it on the chart. Let me just
Filing a complaint on July 31st, 2023.
July 21st. There you go.
I should just get a big calendar and write all these dates down. Like,
so May,
launch.
June, July. So 2 months later after launch.
Yeah, it was shortly after. But not immediately though. Yeah.
So this is Hex on Pulse Chain. So this is a copy of Hex on Ethereum. So this chart has only been alive or born after Pulse Chain was launched. And we'll just maximize that and put it on a daily. Might have to put it on a weekly to see the whole thing, but I'll just zoom out there. Let's put it on a weekly. Okay, so we were going like this.
Click
so
that
this
log
is
too.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Yep.
Anytime.
Yeah, you got to click that log. All right. So we launched. We're going great. Yeah, everything's swimmingly, like fantastic. Look at us. We're amazing. Like this is obviously the launch period. And then this red candle here, this is the 31st of July. So what date was the court case?
About then. What was the exact date?
So this is the court case.
31st. It was the 31st. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the SEC candle. So that's why we get a little bit salty about the SEC. Because that kind of led to the sentiment being, what's the word? People felt like it was unpredictable what was going to happen with the case. And so when people feel like there's not a predictable pattern ahead, they're of course going to press the sell button. So the price of Hex on Pulse Chain, the highest that it has ever gone is about 3 cents or 3 pennies. And today's price is under 1 penny. It's 0.7 of a penny today. So we're actually in anyone new. This is why we're excited to have you, Kim, that comes into Pulse Chain and has a belief can do as good, if not better, than people that have been waiting 4 years for this moment. People that have been waiting 4 years for this moment feel the hyperbull is coming. They know how much is in the sacrifice funds. They know the potential. They know he's done it before. They believe in Richard, despite the sentiment of the broader crypto industry, which is wrong. And by coming in now, your likelihood of going past all-time high is incredibly high, in my opinion. Your likelihood of doing a 10x is incredibly high, in my opinion. After that, who knows? But I suspect that, you'll probably get more of a 10x out of Hex on Pulse Chain. That
sounds awesome to me, Claz. You know who's been really quiet this stream? Lindsay. How you going, Lindsay? What's happening?
You're muted.
Lindsay, you're muted.
Oh yeah, I'm so good. I forgot to mute my mic. I'm enjoying the conversation, and I'm loving the sentiment that stays with the true believers around the community without sounding like, it's for someone new. Kim, I'm curious to see how the language has refined over the years. So over the past 5 years, when I first got into Hex, it was like just the marketing was just so different, and because there really wasn't any, it was so grassroots. But now that are you hearing the same message, or like what message is coming at you clearest with this ecosystem?
Honestly, I can't say there's one. I think because the introduction was through social media, I've gotten a lot of responses and a lot of, varied individuals. But I think overwhelmingly it's very positive and encouraging. So that's why I was really curious. There are not a lot of, communities out there that have this type of energy behind them. So I think that's what stood out to me most. But I think it's also a very layered community. It's not only financial technology, but also, the whole mindset too. So it's different.
That's amazing. I'm absolutely blown away that is what you've received from out there on social media alone. And if perhaps you have the opportunity to attend a live event, please do so, because the energy there is just so much greater. It really is. It's like, I say it all the time and I repeat myself because it's true, that it really is like hanging out with family, friends and family kind of thing. Like, I have met some of my besties in this ecosystem, absolutely. And anyway, if you have the opportunity, I encourage you to do so. Welcome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. And you kind of like described something very interesting that's been like an undercurrent that I've been thinking about in terms of the evolution of the web, right? I think we kind of started with back in the day where we had kind of like tighter knit communities when memes came out and everything. It was a different world. And now we have these gigantic platforms with social media. And I feel like now with, Web3, DeFi, we're returning to a little bit more of these pockets where, hey, like, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland a little bit, how I got this tablet and now I'm here with all of you, which is, I think, more fun than, hey, let me throw these ads and emails at your face and, buy this thing, click here. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's such a good analogy, I think, for the community. And we are very layered. You can't really sort of pinpoint what makes up a hexagon. I could try.
We're not a cult, even though I'm dressed like this. We're not a cult.
We make so many cult jokes, which we just and we probably are slightly cultish, but cultish, it's short for culture.
Yeah.
And I think maybe one thing that unites us is that we have that belief in decentralized finance. We have the belief in self-custody. We don't particularly like just paying back bank interest without really thinking about where our money is going. We want to invest for our future, for our children, or for our other aspirations. So I think we're a group of people that has very high expectations of ourselves, of our goals that we have in our life, what we expect to achieve financially. That kind of binds us together. A lot of us grew up poor. We wanted to change our circumstance and have been pushing and pushing and pushing for decades to have that done. And through real estate, we haven't achieved it. Through stocks, we haven't achieved it. We haven't achieved it in other areas of our life, which brought us to high risk investing in cryptocurrency. And for that, you need a founder that you can trust. You need a founder that has the ultimate knowledge, which Richard does. So Richard Heart is a genius. He is the king of decentralized finance. And although a lot of people judge his exterior, if they actually listen to the messages that he is preaching and actually understand, from an academic level what he is saying, there is nobody else like him. So it's always funny when a new chain comes along and says we're decentralized, and they sort of wave the decentralized flag, and we all sort of groan because we know what decentralization is, and we know that other chains just don't have it. For example, like Trump with his stable coins. And that was a little bit of a shit show. But anyway. So, yeah, we're all a passionate bunch. But in terms of the principles of decentralized finance, HODPRL over here, basically a whole handle is designed around that ethos about holding. HODPRL, do you want to tell Kim how you feel about HEX and your principles of holding HEX?
Yeah, sure. First thing, no matter what crypto you're in, whether it's HEX or Pulse Chain or anything in DeFi, read the white paper, really get into the structure of what that token is. It's probably a token, not a coin. A coin has its own blockchain. A token is built on that blockchain. So, for example, PHEX is technically a token of Pulse Chain, right? EHEX is a token on the Ethereum chain. But all of these things, like I was a big fan of Monero too and Bitcoin before I get into the Pulse chain. And you read that, and it's ring signature obfuscation to hide really your transactions, which originally Bitcoin was kind of built for. Monero does a better job of it. Tornado Cash is kind of what it is on Ethereum. So that the point of that is to hide your funds, to hide your movement, and it works. Hex is a blockchain certificate of deposit. It's modeled after that, right? So really what you do is, you stake it, and then you accrue yield if you do what you say you're going to do and don't take it out early, and so you end up with more hex at the end of it. And there have been, tokens that have copied it or whatever, but it's the first one. It's legit. We have a founder that's pretty much seems to have dedicated his life to it. So I'd say DeFi is a way where you have, it's a function where you have control of your funds, right? There is more risk involved in the sense that you need to make sure you're on the right website. You need to do your research. Part of that research for me with DeFi is reading the white paper, reading the technical papers of all of these tokens instead of following the trends is what I do. Like I go by HODL, and that means like I hold the token for a long time. I don't trade that much. I used to, but usually how that works is you do a lot of research on a token, you buy it, and you just hold it, right? You can look at the news, you can look at, everything and whatever, and you can move it if there's a solid reason for it. But for the most part, you just don't really day trade it. You don't really jump on the newest thing unless there's a solid reason to do so, usually a technical reason. So that's kind of what DeFi is for me, is not having to rely on centralized exchanges, except for maybe like, what you said with the Coinbase, okay, turning your money into crypto, whatever crypto that might be. I like that aspect of it. But instead of holding it in someone else's account, you have your own keys, you have your own wallet. And so no one can take that from you, right? No matter what's going to happen, nobody can take your keys from you if you have your seed phrase in the right spot. And that's important. You don't necessarily have to put all of your money or most of it, but just a little bit. If you were to diversify, some people get gold, some people do the stocks or whatever, some are all in crypto, like the crypto heads, but just a little bit in DeFi is worth it, I think, if I was to make like a solid, vague recommendation for most people.
Nice one, HODL, thanks. Fast Abdul, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. We've got 5 minutes to go. Do you want to, have you got any messages for Kim or messages about your project you want to share?
Well, I got some stuff I'm working on, but it's got to stay secret for now. What I'd like to ask Kim is, what could we do better, Kim?
I guess a theme that has come up through this stream that has been interesting is everyone's background and how they got into this project and crypto and DeFi in general. And I think those stories are the most powerful because, Klaus, you mentioned your upbringing and a lot of people's upbringing here and not having that financial knowledge and education to make educated risks or understand what's actually happening to your money when you put it into that bank account. And I mean, I'm an immigrant and my family has different, mindsets of like how they got to America and survived. That's not necessarily how you want to stay. And to get out of that scarcity mindset takes a lot of understanding of how the world works, which is complicated, right? Like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's also not taught in school unless you like really go and major into some sort of financial degree. But it is a core part of, I think, I don't know, like, wouldn't you want to know what currency is to be able to actually effectively use it? And I mean, looking back into the educational system, I'm sure they have their own, reasons of why they didn't think that was a core curriculum choice. But I think in the next era, I think that is one of the most important things to teach people is like how does the current financial system work locally and also in your country and also around the world, because everyone has a different situation. And I think it's really important to understand at a high level what that is before you get into like, hey, do I buy some bonds? Do I buy some crypto? Do I hold it? Do I sell it? Like, it depends on your situation. Everyone is different. So I think like the
Do you
stories will
see
be a good
crypto
start.
as like a financial tool now after your experiences?
100%. Like I went to this conference recently, and like all of the big banks and TradFi are looking into crypto. And you can see in the US from Trump's Genius Act and the Clarity Act and many to come that this is going to be part of the infrastructure. It's not going to be 100%, but it definitely is going to be there. So might as well start looking into it now.
Yeah, ISO goes live in November, guys. That's it. Like there's no more stalling. ISO live. Boom. Rails open.
Nice.
So
elaborate, Lindsay. So you reckon we're going up November?
I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but perhaps if I did, I would shine it up and I would see like, there's a moon full of opportunities out there. I'm just, there are ETFs and there are so many factors in play that stable coins will bring like massive amounts of credit to crypto, so to speak, like in people's minds, with security wise, so they can fast remove it from the system if they ever need. So this starts crashing. Like people don't get it. They're not here. They haven't, I don't know. You haven't heard the streets whispering yet. And until you do, until that boy shining your shoes, so to speak, starts whispering about the crypto, we have time. But I do believe that we will see some excitement in November, and I believe we will see a whipsaw of energy at the end of December. And then I feel like, we go through the normal parts of the cycle where excitement cools down. It's Q1, back to business, guys. Let's go. Everybody, we finished our books. Look what a fancy company we are for you. Like we did the right things with all of our investments. These things repeat themselves. And right now we're looking at 2019. And what happened to Bitcoin in 2019? We pumped up 40% because of what was going on with the pandemic and such. And they don't want to see that happen again. So, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but perhaps we will see some excitement and some energy coming into this market. So either way, exactly. Yeah, I mean, either way, the way to win is to dollar cost average, as Moondog just said, is to dollar cost average into this market. That is truly the way that you will win. And truly the way that you'll win is to pick a project you are passionate enough about to hold through the times when everybody else is like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. Because the more
when it pumps, hold too.
Yeah. Well, you have to yeah, I agree.
That's the hard part.
Like hold on to core, and then you got to let your foot off the gas a little bit, but hold on to your core coins and decide what that really means to you. And I think that's the hardest part about holding a bag for some people in the scarcity mindset is that they have not set their why. Why are you investing in this market? What is your true reason? If it's truly just to make money, then you better study your butt off and you better glue your butt to that chair. You better get a diaper. You better get an oxygen mask. Like you better strap in a bumpy ride. But if you have conviction with the things that you're pulling, the project, and you're truly not over leveraged and you're seeking quality throughout crypto and you're not, anyway, I could get sideways on that one. I won't. But anyway, just look back to 2019. Look at the energy that was there, and perhaps we'll see that again.
Awesome. So guys, we at one stage we had 555 viewers online, and I was going to get a snapshot, but we blew past it. So we've had some good viewership today. We're on 584 and we're getting streamed across a few channels. So yeah, it's been a great stream. So we might do final wrap up messaging. Sammy Chica.
Well, thanks for having me, Claz. It's always great to see you and talk crypto, and nice to meet you, Kim. It's lovely chatting with you. And hey, you guys, good to see Hopro, Lindsay, and Fastable, and Briz, and Crypto Stylist. And I'm feeling bullish. I'm feeling excited, and hopefully we can stream again soon and talk about what's going on.
Nice, thank you. Thanks for being here, Sammy. Fast.
Once again, thank you for letting me be an honorary lady for this show.
Yeah, for life.
Fantastic.
You're a lifer. Honorary lady for life.
I'm pretty bullish on the lady streams, and I'm bullish on Pulse Chain. People can follow me at FastAbdul, which I will display on the screen momentarily, and I should have some announcements soon. So stay tuned.
Looking forward to it. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Viper Lindsay.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And it's so nice to meet you, Kim. Welcome. Like I said, I really, truly am thankful that you're here to share your experience with everyone new on the outskirts, and for those that have been here for a while to know like what's resonating the best out there. So thank you for that feedback. And if you would like to follow me, perhaps that is my handle underneath here. And welcome.
Thanks, Viper Lindsay. Little Red Riding Hex, Hot Pro.
Oh, Kim, it's really cool that you're here. It's DeFi is freedom, no matter what form. Obviously, I'm a Hex fan. Hex.com. But just being in DeFi really gives you control over your money, and you'll start to realize over time how much control over your money you don't have when it's in someone else's hands, whether it's even in a bank with somebody else, or even a centralized exchange, which I'm not against. But DeFi is the future, and I'm really glad that people are getting on board with it. It's awesome, and go Hex! I think we're gonna pump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. Thanks,
that's it. Happy Halloween! Yeah.
Happy Halloween. Thanks for being here. Kim.
Well, thank you, Klaus, for having me. And thank you, everyone. It was so nice to meet you. And yeah, thanks for being such a great community. It's a rare thing. And what you have is unique. And I hope that my new perspective can help bring the nice parts out that people don't realize right in the beginning because of, I don't know. What is a hexagon?
Yeah, that's it. I think maybe we focus on our optics when we should be focusing, as you said, on the real stories. So thanks for being here, Kim, and appreciate your point of view. Thank you to everyone on the stream and to the chat and to the people watching online. Appreciate you all being here. I think this cycle may be slightly different. I think we're all hoping that Ethereum pumps. Nobody really knows, but thanks everyone for being here, and have a great day.